Hello, Core 3 Beauties. This is Marcos, and this is our week 7 going into week 8 weekly recap briefing video for our Core 3 Topics class at Parsons School of Design. And we're heading into the middle of the semester. We're halfway through our course, which is pretty hard to believe. We've got lots done and we've got lots more to do. So let's go through this video as quick as we can because it might be a long one because there's a lot to go over. And particularly if you did not come to class last Thursday by some tragic reason, for some tragic reason, then for sure you need to watch this as well as watch some additional videos that I'll reference later on. But let's just start with an overall look at the workflow for this coming week. We've got lots going on. So we're working towards our big deadline is right now, the digital forms project. We've got less than a week to go. And on Thursday is going to be our final review day in class. So yes, that little look on the emoji friend's eyes there might be where you're at, but you've got time. You've got the full weekend as of the making of this recording. And Thursday we will have a in-class session. And yes, there will be treats. It'll be a treat critique. And so be ready for snacks and be ready to present concisely in a deck and through mock-up prototypes of your digital project, an inspiring presentation for each of us to go over and for you to showcase and celebrate your achievement on that. And at the same time, we are kicking off Project 3 as of our last class. And our first assignment is to do a little research project and choose a few options, 3 options of a cause that you might want to pursue as the basis for your project. And we will review that on our Tuesday individual meetings. So no problem there with the sunglasses emoji. He's got that covered. And then we need to keep on track with our watching of our video lectures. And I dug in and there was no lecture for this week. So it's a bonus week to catch up. So make sure you've got all the lectures covered. I know we haven't discussed them all, but that's okay. It's about you watching them. And a reminder that in our midterm examination, one of the questions, the only question will be, have you watched all the cross topics videos? And I want each of you to honestly say yes, so that you get an A in your midterm examination. So be ready for that. Turn that thing on, watch it while you're working. And then our next class will be, as I just said, it will be a midterm check-in review individually for each of you. And we will do that via Zoom appointments. And I have a schedule to share with you. And that midterm is going to be 10 minutes short, not very long. And it will be a quick, just pretty much props to each of you for the great work you're doing and any personal feedback on how you can improve and do better. And just to check in to make sure that the A making machine is working smoothly and crafting a beautiful golden A for you for the end of the semester. So that should be all very positive for everybody. Also a chance for you to give me any feedback if you have any suggestions. I know we've taken some suggestions on how to run the class, so I'm very open to that. So do share. And then we will also check in on your digital forms project really quick. There won't be a lot of time for a lot of review, but let me know how you're doing and we can set up separate reviews if needed on that. And also we will be talking about your 3 options for your cause for the final project 3. So be ready for that. And I will share this by email, but here is a sneak peek at the schedule for our 10-minute review sessions. And as I said, those will be via Zoom. So the idea is that you will be working in the most productive place possible. It could be the classroom. Feel free to come to the classroom if you want, but most likely at home or somewhere else in the school, or wherever you can get the most work done, because I want everyone to utilize the full class session, not just this little 10 minutes, and then off you go shopping or to a party. Nope, 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 not yet. We'll save that for later on. I want you to be focused fully on your work, jamming out as much work as you can, both for your final digital forms and as you continue on with your project 3, your independent project. So there's a look at that, and I'll email that out, and as well as the link to the Zoom class. Okay, so this is the big one coming up on Thursday. We've got our final reviews. So be sure you are finalizing your design and your coding or prototyping on Figma of your digital forms project, and make sure you're thinking about not only the interactions and the result of how your design is going to look and feel and operate, but also think about how you'll be presenting it so that you create inspiring prototype videos if needed, or that you're able to click through them gracefully and effectively, showing how your uh, project works and what the user experience is like, so that we can all get a really good idea of what that's going to look like. So make sure you're putting your best into this. This is an important project for you, and I want you to really make sure you shine as brightly as possible. And the reminder on Canvas, we've been using the same assignment page, and on the bottom of that is the part 3 portion that showcases the list of deliverables in terms of what you should have in your presentation. And you know what this is because we've been doing this. We did it in project 1, so same idea, just a digital version of it. And then there's a link to click at the bottom here that'll take you to the Google Drive, where there's digital forms link to post that by Thursday before class. All right. And then on our last class, we dedicated it to the final project kickoff in order for everyone to clear your palettes and begin afresh to think about and produce a final project that will pretty much be really connected to and building off what we've learned and built together with our first 2 projects based on that first assignment on week 1. It's the model of what we'll be doing, but we will be adding a little bit more of a deeper component to it, as I want to have everyone create a cohesive, very inspired project that has a direct connection to a result, and a direct connection to a result that is tangible and easy to understand and is focused in on doing good with design. So this final project, as we talked about, is about design for good, is what I'm calling it. And it's the 3rd project we're doing, and I'm challenging you to create your own unique brand. And I want you to address a social or individual issue or a cause, and create a brand that will address that in some way, that will give people tools in order to solve the problem or create change or to improve life experience. And positive change is what I'm looking for, and I'm looking for positivity, as we've been talking about in this class. The prompt of beauty is still living on. We are still looking towards that as our inspiration towards how we're creating our work, and that we're looking for creating a project that's going to be geared towards personal improvement and overall human flourishing, whether that's in our individual lives, within our families, within our community, within this country, or within the world at large. And the more focused it can be around individual usage, the better. And that's what I want to kind of push towards. So in this project, it's billed as 2 components, which we'll talk about next, and that's the analog and digital component, mirroring exactly what we've been doing with our first 2 projects. But I'm also bringing in a first pre-component, we'll call it, maybe a branding component, and this innovation around creating a living, breathing brand that is going to be the advocate for what you're trying to promote or change. So all that is going to come together in a cohesive design system that uses the digital and the analog component as the main flagship, the main weapon in doing what you want to do with the change you want to create through design. All right, so this is the sheet that we went through in class. I don't think I'm going to go through it all here in this video so that we're not too long, but if you're looking at this for the first time and you weren't in class, you can screen capture it, do a screenshot, and read through it. But basically, it's talking about the idea that in this project, we're going to have 2 main deliverables, and that with all the deliverables, the concept is going to be that you create a project that utilizes 2 different kinds of mediums, the digital and the analog mediums. And there are 2 options that I'll go over here with you in a second. But you'll do that under the foundation of creating brand ident creating a visual identity system and creating a cohesive graphic system, your brand, that will bring together these two pieces that they're working together to communicate uh, an objective in different ways or supporting each other in similar ways. So just go to page 2 here, because basically you're going to have a couple options. One, with the analog, you have two options to create either an editorial piece. It could be a magazine, a book, some sort of broader piece that has 5 stories. It has a good amount of content. That's a hefty piece that really is the showpiece for what you're doing. And if you don't do that editorial piece, then that same level of work needs to translate into a spatial option, into some kind of interactive. Well, it's a physical project. It's a place that you go to. It's an exhibit, some kind of intervention experience, some sort of space that involves a spatial strategy and creating floor plans and renderings of what the experience might be like. I see this as like the sort of sub option. Like, this does sound very interesting and intriguing, but I am a fan of the editorial one, so that we kind of stick with a traditional medium that will nicely balance against the digital medium and work in a way that can really hold a lot of content. That's something you can design and hold on to. And I'm not against the event experience or the exhibition. I think that's great too. And you can also utilize that spatial experience as a secondary touch point, and not as an extensive project, but you don't have to like rule it out. You can make a book, and if the book ends up being a little less than what is saying the criteria of like the 5 stories, then you can make up for that by doing a spatial idea that is not as in depth either. So there's ways we can fine tune things and make them work within the parameters you're giving here. Again, this is a guideline. And then the second is to create a digital medium, and to choose one, either a motion piece or an interactive piece. And the motion piece being a substantial motion piece that is made for a specific context, a dynamic system, some way to do a poster or a main stage graphic, or some way that you have a motion graphic piece that is substantial and able to communicate your objectives. Or I'm a fan of second option here, which is the interactive website or app, and that's to create kind of a full-on piece that's usually experienced through the mobile phone or through a desktop, and to have that mirror the same level of the editorial piece, that you take through a lot of content, and that you have a comprehensive experience that addresses your objective, that what your brand is standing for and what it's seeking to do, and what service or what strategy it's using to interact with people in order to give them the tools to accomplish the goal you're setting out to accomplish. So the best way to really understand this is to remember, or to go and view if you weren't in class, the 3 examples of projects that we looked at. Actually, there was 4. I took you through one that showcased how this is done through 2 main pieces, the print and the digital piece. So check these out more thoroughly and let me know if you have questions with it. But overall, this is a look at what we have left for the second half of our class. And just a couple weeks here in the beginning where we're still crossing between the 2 projects, but then after week 8, after next week, we'll be fully dedicated only to the final project. We're going to go through several steps of the brand process in the beginning, creating a name, creating a brand, creating a logo, creating some minor touch points. And then from there, the last quarter of the class, I guess we'll call it, the last half of the class, will be dedicated into creating these print and analog and digital assets that are your showpieces, and work through the end. We have a little bit of a tricky ending here, as Thanksgiving, which is normally a week earlier, but because it's the last Thursday of the month, and this year it happens to be almost at the end of the month, Thanksgiving is the week before finals. So I don't want anybody caught off guard enjoying the holiday, which I want you to do, overeating, which I also want you to do, but then realizing, oh my goodness, the tears flow out, the weeping and gnashing of teeth begin, the suffering is really up leveled up to the highest possible point, and that you make a big turnaround, of course, and on the week finals week, you make a comeback and you get the result of those three uh, lovely emojis at the bottom there. So we'll work our way towards that. We'll plan it step by step. No need to get stressed out yet. Um, but just to zoom in on what we're doing immediately, just to remind you, Thursday, we had our introduction. So we're past that. And now we're on to week 8. Our midterm reviews on Tuesday. Our finals for digital projects on Thursday. And then the last 2 weeks of October will be in creating a research and logo concept, uh, name of your brand, and then develop that logo, and then begin to create concepts for that logo and finalize it and begin to create the basis, the foundation for how you're going to utilize your digital analog pieces for your final results. All right, but just a reminder, we are building all that we're doing here in this class, and hopefully for you, not just in this class, but take this with you, but that you have an ultimate goal of understanding the nature of our world, and that there is goodness, truth, and beauty, of course, in our world, and that we are here to confront the realities of what that means and to look for the goodness in all that we can, and to create things that are going to inspire people to do their best. So beauty is the overall arching theme. The cup half full is our inspiration. We look at things positively, but in this specific assignment, we're using beauty as our top level North Star. And we're looking at that as what we seek to accomplish in a general way. And here in this chart, we have the path we'll be taking. We're going to go across the beauty rainbow from a social cause, from an individual need, from something you're going to identify this week. Maybe you've done it already. And we're going to take the path needed to create a brand and to create pieces that will end up at the end of the beauty rainbow into human flourishing. And that's our goal, to improve human flourishing, to improve the human experience, to push back against this broken world and provide answers for things that we may be suffering against, and make our lives better through design. And it's a great cause, and it's a great reason to be a designer. It's inspiring to have this superpower that each of you have. I have it too. This ability to conceptualize, to visualize, to connect with the human experience, to provide solutions. It's incredible to do, and I want you guys to now take all the experiences you've had through your lives, through the time at school, and begin to now put it into this moment, put it into this project, and to create some great things. And I know it's going to happen. I can't wait to see what you guys do. As just a quick example, we went through this in more detail in class. I'm not going to go through these as much as I did in class, but the idea of what we're doing here is to create this a brand, and this is just a cover page of the final for a project called Silkworthy, or Skillworthy, Silkworthy. And Skillworthy is based on, this is the final result. There are pages from the final result, but it was based on this student taking on the issue of the cause of adult illiteracy, or the inability to speak, which I'm suffering from right now, adult illiteracy in the USA. And so that, to me, this is a great example of a cause that is something that is not on the top level. I'm not against things like the environment or global warming, or like whatever it is, that the things that we hear about a lot that are a big priority for many people, of course. And but I want to kind of try to drill down further into more specific micro causes, a cause like this, adult illiteracy. It doesn't. I've never heard it be. I don't hear it be. I don't hear it being talked about, and it's not at the top of the list of the problems of the world. But I think that what I appreciate more is the idea of looking into these smaller causes and finding a place where design can come in and intervene and create positive change. So this student took on that cause, and it was based on the foundation of doing good research, researching this, finding this cause, and finding data on the cause that led towards insights of what this issue was, how could it be addressed, and also taking a positive view of it and looking at identifying that adults who end up being illiterate uh, have a reason for that, and that the reason for that usually is the result of some unexpected life event, death of a parent, or just things that happen that force kids at the time to drop out of school, to not complete their education because of usually some heroic effort that they need to do. They need to provide for their family. They need to change what they thought they were going to do. Sure, sometimes it may have been because they made bad choices, but in the end, what we want to do with this brand is create a positive view of the circumstance that somebody finds themselves in, and provide a solution that is accessible, that is inspiring, that has a positive path towards becoming viable readers and writers. So what this student did was create the brand, built on some foundational principles that they created, some values for the brand, created the name, tagline, and then created an identity for it that really sought to connect both the two assets that we're being asked to do, the digital and the print. And you can see down here at the bottom center column, the main pieces they made beyond the identity and the minor assets like seen here on the bottom in the center right column, is to create both a physical workbook piece that was designed to work hand in hand with a mobile phone through QR codes, connections, and utilizing the networking of a phone and the data that's available on a phone to create a tutoring system that allowed adults to learn starting from level 1 and growing from there, and being connected to a community of people who were also facing the same challenge and trying to achieve the same goals of learning to read and write better, and utilizing both those two pieces of the book and the app to make that experience possible. So I think this is a good example of the kind of thing you should seek to be doing. We also went through 3 different case studies of oh, hey, Quinn, sorry. And we watched these pieces that resulted in what was the final presentation from last year's class from our design friends who were the original Core 3 beauties who took this exact course and did this exact assignment and created the project results. So for those of you who didn't see that, or if you saw it and you want to watch them again, I put these 3 videos on the Google Drive, and you can watch them there. But as I said in class, they were kind of based on the creation of or the selecting them because of the variations that in the kinds of themes they picked, and also the variations of the kind of results that came out of it, and giving you a good sense of the kinds of levels of project I'm looking for from you on this. And Alien. And then this is the third one. Hello. And then but again, they're totally worth watching because they give you a good sense of what I'm looking for in terms of like really creating not just incredible print pieces, inspiring, dynamic digital pieces, but also a total kick-ass brand. And when I want to look at this, I think I referred to this last year as like, let's outdo the Harvard Business School master's people and create these incredible programs that you as designers have the ability to do that business people can't do because they can't design, but we can do what they can do and we can design. So I want to create this really high level result that's going to seem completely real and possible and almost as if it already exists and is doing its job. So I hope this can be inspiring to you guys to do it. And here's where I kept those. So, and if you go to the Google Drive, there's a folder at the top level called Class Resources. If you click on that, you'll see not just the syllabus, but you'll see a new folder that says Final Project, Past Project Examples. Not the best name, But you click on that, and there's three movies in there from what I just showed you for those final review presentations. And note that you will be making one of these movies at the end too. So make sure you're ready for that and that you end up as an example of excellence for next year's class. Okay, so I created a new Canvas, although this is the one for the other. This is the one for our final digital projects. It's in the wrong spot. But I created a Canvas page for this project, and also the Dropbox for the first project, which is here in front of me. So let's talk about the first step, our part one in the independent project. It's going to be simple. I need everyone to focus now as you finish digital projects on finding a cause and finding something that's worth spending the next 6 weeks on, 7 or 8 weeks. And basically, I want you to do some research. And many of you may say, oh, I already know what I want to do. And that's cool. And love that you already have something you're passionate about, and for sure include that. But I want for sure for each of you to research and find something new and different, something that maybe you're not even aware of until you think about it, or you ask around about it, or you dig further and find a unique cause that could use our help and could be something that you could focus in on a design solution for, and creating a brand that advocates for or against whatever the issue might be. So I want everyone simply to do that research, collect some information about each of those causes, get some imagery, some photos to support that, and simply make simple single page presentation slides for each of the causes that you are proposing to consider. So the cover page on the left there, top left, and then the three different kinds of issues. And what's missing in this presentation, I think this is something all of you know immediately. Maybe you're even outraged that you're not seeing a thank you page here at the end, but I just didn't include it because it would be an awkward 5. But you already know thank you pages are so important. And thank you pages aren't as important as the principle of gratitude and walking around in the spirit of gratitude at all times, which I know you guys are doing. So this is an example, and here you see in the specifics of the students, you see kind of a focus on a specific culture, and this student was from South Korea, and doing that kind of thing, is definitely great. At the same time, it needs to be something that can be done in English so that we can all understand it and respond to it, and also can be something that's easy to imagine in terms of its implementation. And I think in this student's case, she ended up going with the suicide mental health theme, but she didn't just limit it to South Korea. She kind of made it a universal idea that would apply to South Korea, but also would apply to other cultures, including the United States culture. Okay, so this is what you'll be doing. Again, think about finding an issue, a cause that's unique, different, and outside the scope of what we're all used to hearing about. That's very important. All right, so here is the page for that on Canvas, as well as a new part 1 of project 3 folder to load this up before Tuesday's class. And again, the reminder, this is a final project, so it's going to be like half of the grade, 40 out of 100, and that you'll be graded at the end of the project based on the 5 criteria seen here of visual quality, critical and conceptual thinking, response, process, and professionalism, each with a possible 8 points. So it's really important that you are doing your projects within the way that I outline and within the schedule I outline, step by step, like we've been doing, responding to what I ask, fulfilling all the deliverables I request each week, and then delivering them and interacting in class, and being as the most you can be within the experience you have, both in your design work and in your interactions in class with me and with students. That means participation and uh, critique comments, and it means laughing at my jokes and seeming happy, even if you're not, and all those things that make for a straight A student that the A making machine will acknowledge by producing an A for you. And again, also remember that on this sheet here, we also have these extra little end of the semester grades that are 8 points, but they reflect what I was just talking about, you as an overall citizen of the class and the kinds of observations we make about how you speak and how consistent you are and how professional you are. So make sure you're doing all that stuff to keep the A making machine happy and not starting to smoke or turn off or blow up. But no one's in danger of that at all. Okay, so I think this is out of order, but here's our digital forms part 3, which I meant to have earlier on. So there it is. And remember to watch your cross topics video 6, as well as any others that you have missed. And there isn't a new one. There's a break week for that. And the next one will be next week. And a reminder, here's the schedule for our midterm, and be ready for that. And please make sure you're on time. Or like 5 minutes before your time, you're on there waiting. I'll try not to fall behind, but if you got to wait a little bit, apologies in advance, but hang out there until I get there, and be ready to share and talk in a quick but respectful way. And I look forward to that. And no need to come to class on Tuesday. You can if you want. You're welcome to come to class, but I won't be there. I'll be meeting on Zoom from here, and I'll send out that Zoom link on Tuesday morning. All right, everybody. So lots going on. I'm cheering for you. Keep going. Reach out to me if you need direct feedback. I know we haven't had as much feedback on this because we've tried to keep the heat off on having to do presentations for this past week, but I don't want us to pay the price by not being fully prepared. So I am always available, not always, but in my heart, always available to meet with anyone who needs feedback, and beyond what we might get on Tuesday's quick reviews that we have on Zoom. So I will see you guys Tuesday night on Zoom. And in the meantime, keep going and stay positive and productive. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.